DJ Genesis, Detroit. Truth in the algorithm. Welcome to the live stream.
Yo, live stream junkie with the mic turned on, breaking down the matrix while the lights stay on. Politics, religion, yeah, we question every claim, while the media playing narratives and shifting every frame. Ancestors speaking through the wisdom of Ifa, cosmic knowledge shining like a distant star. From Detroit to the world on a digital stage, dropping truth bombs every time I hit the page.
Welcome to the channel where the truth get deployed.
DJ Genesis live from Detroit.
Breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed.
Tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
Welcome to the channel.
Where the truth get deployed.
DJ Genesis live from Detroit.
Breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed. Tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
Debates on fire, got the comments going crazy. Asking questions that the system can't face me. From ancient civilizations to the modern day lies, connecting dots that they hide from the public eye.
Knowledge of self, yeah, the ancestors guide. When the full moon rising for the spiritual tide.
This the place where the truth gets exposed.
Every live stream, another chapter unfolds.
To the channel. Welcome to the channel where the
truth get deployed.
DJ Genesis live from Detroit.
Breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed. Tap in, subscribe, you rockin' with the voice.
DJ Genesis, Detroit. Truth seekers unite, 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 unite. Stay away, stay away, stay away. Stay questioning.
What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. This is DJ Genesis Detroit, and we are celebrating the first Earth Goddesses of Hip Hop today, and we have a special guest, Mighty Hebrew, who is going to break down the first goddess of hip hop, all like the female hip hop artists that you never heard of, that you weren't even thinking of, that you might not know of. So without further ado, we're gonna get the show started. With who I'm playing right here, the Mercedes Ladies, okay? In case you didn't know or never heard of them.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh. They kicking it.
All right. The women knew how to jam too. They knew how to rock a mic. Okay. So without further ado, Mighty Hebrew is going to give his presentation on the goddesses of hip hop. Welcome, Mighty Hebrew. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. What's going on, DJ Genesis?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Ain't nothing, man. I know a lot of people been asking about this and they've been waiting patiently. I just want to apologize for the delay, but now we here, and we here for the first Earth Goddesses of hip hop. And I was inspired to put this PowerPoint together by the way of DJ Genesis when I was doing the presentation on the late African Bambaataa. I think you brought something up like, man, we need to do something for the females or something like that.
Right.
So you know what? You're right. I'm gonna put something together. I ain't know it was gonna be this quick, but I was like, I'm gonna put something together and we're gonna do something for the sisters. So right here, you see, matter of fact, put that back up. I just want to explain what we're looking at real quick. The poster, the actual poster, the first Earth Goddesses of hip hop. No, the poster itself that you made.
That's it.
No, but yeah, there it is right there. There it is right there. So right here, we see the first Earth Goddesses of hip hop, and we starting from the left to the right. So you see MC Sarak, you see Angie B, which is the late Angie Stone. You see Sylvia Robinson, Sequence, which Angie B, aka Angie Stone, is a part of, and Zulu Queen Lisa Lee. So we just gonna get it in this. We're gonna start with the Mercedes ladies, and then we're gonna stop with Bahamadia, which this is actually part one. It's gonna at least be probably 2 to 3 parts, because we gotta get from we starting at 1976, and then we're gonna stop at 1995, 1996. Then we're gonna come back and get into 1996 and probably stop at 2010, and then from 2010 to 2026. So that's how we're going to do it. But it's definitely an honor, you know, and a privilege that I'm here to speak on this topic. I think this topic has been ignored. I looked all over social media and I see very little on the backbone of hip hop. Our sisters always been there amongst us. You know, you had sisters that was, you know, a part of, you know, the Zulu Nation, the Black Spades. You know, you had beat girls there, rappers there, yo, also DJs there. Like man, I forgot to put the sister up in there, but she's definitely gonna come up. The very first female DJ, you know, Black American sister. We gonna get into all that. So it's definitely dope. So we got here, you know, the first slide. We got the Mercedes ladies. Now, give a brief synopsis on them. They came around roughly 1976. Hip hop, you know, has been stamped amongst our pioneers, amongst DJ Faze and others from the Black Spades. 1971 is the stamp. So when you get Mercedes ladies, right, they was consisted of DJs and rappers. You know what I'm saying? And it's a sad thing for them because they never came out with an album. They never came out with an album. These were some sisters that got together, and you know, and first it was like a clique thing, and they made jackets that said Mercedes ladies and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was the song we just played. That was them like actually rocking the crowd. That was a mixtape.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was them live and rapping and stuff, but they never came out with an album. And I watched the documentary on them, and they felt some type of way. One of the sisters from Mercedes ladies was speaking about how Sequence, and we're going to get into that, how Sequence came out, and you know, and they were from South Carolina, Sequence, and I'm going to get into how they came out on Sugar Hill Records with Sylvia Robinson, you know, because Angie Stone is originally from South Carolina, and they felt some type of way, Mercedes ladies being from the Bronx, like how could, you know, Sylvia Robinson bring somebody out from a whole nother, you know, state where we was here first, because, you know, in the open to the public eye, the first female rap group was Sequence, or the Sequence, and that's just not true. It was Mercedes ladies. But what we can say, they would be considered, I would define the Sequence, you know, being the first recorded female rap group. Recorded artist female rap group would be Sequence. But if you're talking about the first female rap group, like from what we know historically, it would be the Mercedes ladies. And as you can see right here, that's 5 of them right there. I think originally it started with 4, and then they added a 5th one. So you had like 2 DJs, 2 rappers, and then from there they added another person. They all went to the same high school together. They grew up together. So their whole objective was, it was just a clique thing, a fad. They were pretty women. And then from there they start rapping at the jams. You know, they was you know, going to jams where DJ Disco King Mario was at, where DJ Cool Herc was at, getting on that mic, you know, dropping, and you know, and we definitely going
And you know what I noticed? They didn't sound masculine either.
get into that. Also give a shout out to the DJ, because DJ. Say that one more time.
I noticed they didn't sound masculine either. They sounded like
no,
you know.
Yeah, they sounded like female, like how they supposed to sound, you know. And we also gonna because you know DJ Genesis is a DJ, but we definitely going, you know, talk about DJ Jazzy Joyce, who, you know, and I want everybody to pray for DJ Jazzy Joyce, because you know she's ill right now, but that's the first female DJ. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, everybody keep her in prayer. She's battling the illness and stuff like that. But yeah, they sound feminine. They ain't all masculine and rough and crazy, and they all look beautiful. They all look beautiful.
They wasn't talking.
So I just, if y'all watching this,
they wasn't talking all nasty and stuff.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. I see people in the comments. Yeah, they rocking the crowd. Oh, we definitely gonna get into Roxanne Shante, but Roxanne Shante, she come much later. So right here, no, you can stay right there for now. So because we still with Mercedes Ladies, because now you're getting into Soul Rock. We're gonna get into her in a second. So with the, you know, I see one brother said Roxanne Shante. We will be talking.
Was DJ Evil D? Was she the first female DJ that was really big?
I know of a man DJ named Evil D.
It was something D, but it was she was heavy
for Black Moon.
Yeah.
There was a female named Evil D too.
It was something like that. Evil D. It was a female DJ name.
The Evil D I know is Evil D, the DJ for Buckshot Shorty and Black Moon. Their DJ was named Evil D.
And I forget what this because this DJ used to be able to scratch with her boobs and everything, but never mind. Anyway,
she was scratching with her boobs.
Yeah, she was able to do she was able to do tricks and stuff. And one of her was to use her boobs and scratch with. Yeah. Wow. I thought her name was Evil D, but I got to go back into my DMC archives. You know, I used to study. I initially was trying to be a DMC like turntablist, but then I ended up getting into house music and techno and started doing that. So, but I initially started off trying to be a turntable.
Okay. So you was into so you what you DJ in different house clubs and stuff like that?
Yeah, I used to travel the world DJ house and techno, and you know I would mix it up. I would play some hip hop and stuff like that as well. But
you was overseas too?
Yeah, mainly overseas, primarily overseas.
Wow. Yeah. Excellent. Actually, you was over in Europe, I'm pretty sure of that.
Europe, Japan, like Africa. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely gonna get into Jazzy Joyce, because Jazzy Joyce, if people don't know, she was the DJ for Sweet Tea. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely gonna get into her. Shout out to Sweet Tea. You know what I'm saying? And it's just an honor to talk about these sisters. So again, if y'all watching this, Mercedes Ladies, we love y'all. You know, we want to thank y'all for, you know, bringing y'all contribution to hip hop, because y'all was like the foundation for female rap groups, because prior to Mercedes Ladies, you didn't have no female rap groups. None. They were the very first that we know on record to be a group, and it could have been others, but
I'm sorry, I have it wrong. It was Wanda D, not Evil D. Wanda D.
Oh yeah, I heard of Wanda D before. I heard of Wanda D. Yeah, I heard of Wanda D. Yeah, she's a legend. I was like Evil D. Yeah, Evil D from Black Moon. But Wanda D, she's a legend. She's a legend. She came up, yeah. She was around for some years, many years. But I just want to give a shout out to them and just give, Mercedes ladies they flowers, because, a lot of them they felt, and I seen the documentary and I can hear the pain and the sister voice, the one on the far left top. She was the one that was doing the interview, and she was like really going in, like she felt like they group got, swept under the rug, you know what I mean? And they've been like mismanaged and misrepresented, and they've been overshadowed for many, many years. So most definitely, give a shout out to Mercedes ladies. So go to the next slide. So we got here, Ciroc. Ciroc is, she is considered to be the first female MC, and she was a part of what is known as the Funky 4+1. And Ciroc, she came out roughly around 78, but got, noticeable in 79. But she was like the first female, like, lyricist, MC Ciroc. Like, she was like matching dudes. Prior to her, you never seen nothing like that. Like, she changed the game, like when Roxanne came, and she changed the game. So it was like, yo, this is a sister that can go bar for bar for bar for bar. And in her time, she's the one that, paved the way for people like Lisa Lee. You know what I mean? The sequence and, all them type of, Debbie D and all of them. And as a matter of fact, if you watch the movie Beat Street, and if you can get that clip real quick, you'll see MC Ciroc, Lisa Lee, and Debbie D. And that song like Us Girls Can Boogie Too. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, DJ Genesis? Us Girls Can Boogie Too. Are you there, DJ Genesis? If you get, I don't know, she probably stepped off for a minute.
But can you, did you hear that? What I was trying to play? I was trying to play.
I didn't hear anything.
It was supposed to be Ciroc, MC Ciroc, but I can't find. It's hard to do while I'm doing a presentation to actually add other things to the stage. But let me see.
Oh, the movie Beat Street. Remember when them three girls was rapping and they would say, "Us girls can boogie too." That's MC Ciroc, Lisa Lee, and Debbie D.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And they in the movie Beat Street. So, MC Ciroc, she's been out for a long time. She's still around right now, looking beautiful as ever. Give a shout out to MC Ciroc, and she does a lot of activist work, community activist work, and she definitely, keep it real. There she go right there with her beautiful self. Our sisters, man, in the 70s or in 80s, beautiful, natural, skin glowing, you know what I'm saying? And they were straight feminine. They wasn't trying to be masculine, none of that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, drop it.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? We're ready for this. Are you ready for this? We're ready for this. What we just can't miss. We just can't miss. What we just can't miss. With a beat like this. It's the joint. We're gonna prove to the world that we're for real. We're gonna prove to everybody we know the real deal. We got golden voices and hearts to steal because if I
we can't play too much of it, but that's the type of vibe that she was on, But yeah.
And if y'all don't know, if y'all don't know, even the Roots, it's the Roots and Bahamadia. They got that joint. It's the joint. And they got that from that. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, they set the stage. We can't forget our sisters. There's no way we can forget our sisters. And if you actually listen to MC Sarah, if you can find like a little clip, just put MC Sarah rapping. And just to hear her real quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Let's see.
She was like way before her time, dropping bombs. I mean, meteorite bombs on them. You heard her rap and the way she would flow. You could see, you know, Roxanne Shante was highly influenced by MC Sarah. You know what I'm saying? And give a shout out to Coke La Rock. See, listen. Coke La Rock put it down that you got MC Sarah. You got, you know, different people with that La Rock, Scott La Rock, et cetera, et cetera. There we go.
Kenny, man, there goes Shah Rock and Celine Debbie D.
Stop it. And this is being shown for educational purposes. So let's make that clear. This is being shown for educational purposes. Continue on.
Go get that record. Well, here's 3 ladies from our neighborhood. 100%. We know you practice all week.
We can dance, we can shake it. Us girls, we boogie too.
Yeah, so that was, you know, but you know what, rappers could also sing as well. Like they were singing, you know, it wasn't just rapping. They were able to sing as well. They were harmonizing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let it play. Yup. We could talk and pause and not let it play again. Some more.
Come on, girls, let's go break it. Let's go break it. Us girls are the best of friends. If one ain't got no money, the other one is. When we go out, we know we look real hot. What the boys want, how you know we got?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
But, you know, they was able to jam. It was jamming. You know,
it was definitely in hip hop, man. It was because of the poverty that was going on in the, you know, in the southeast section of the Bronx, the South Bronx. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, it was definitely counter culture, because, you know, it was a lot of things that were going on, a lot of poverty, a lot of, you know, single mother homes, parents was getting on drugs, died. That's a banging picture right there. That's a classic picture right there that you just put up with MC Sarah and Angie B, aka the late Angie Stone. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't know that Angie Stone is a pillar and a pioneer in hip hop. Like before she was even just a singer where she just sung, she used to rap and sing. You know, a lot of people don't know this about Angie Stone. Like she was a dope MC. You know what I'm saying? And that's her right there. And you know, it was a tragedy that she passed away last year, and how she passed away. And I just send the family of Angie Stone, we send our continuous condolences, you know, because she definitely was a pillar in hip hop and a pillar of hip hop soul with the hip hop soul. So give a shout out to Angie B, aka Angie Stone. She definitely was a hip hop pioneer. There's no way of getting around that. We definitely gonna get back into them as we continue on. But MC Sarah, we gotta give her flowers while she's still amongst us. And you know, she's in her, if I'm not mistaken, she's in her late 50s, somewhere around there. So she's definitely a queen amongst us, and we have to continue to keep our brothers and sisters alive that's manifesting, especially our sisters, because it's not enough information out there. And there she go right there. You know what I mean? That's MC Ciroc today. That's her right now. So give a shout out to her. And, you know, and to this day, she still keep hip hop alive. So now we have Sylvia Robinson. She was born 1935, and she's known to be the mother of hip hop because of what she did. And what did she do? She brought out what is known as Sugar Hill Records. Go to the next slide so we can see a picture of her. Beautiful. There she go right there. Beautiful sister, right? So let me give a brief synopsis about her. So one day, Sylvia Robinson, she been out like doing music since the 1960s. You know what I mean? In her solo career, singing and stuff. So one day she went to a jam and she heard this like hip hop rap music. You know what I mean? She like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And she like, this can, you know, we can make some money off of this. This is the future. So she wind up, you know, because you know she's over in New Jersey. She wind up, you know, getting with Big Hank and, you know, other people that was in, you know, what later became known as the Sugar Hill Gang. And she put this person together, that person together, this person together, and created the Sugar Hill Gang. And shout out to, you know, Grandmaster Cash, because he the one that wrote the song Rapper's Delight. You know what I mean? He wrote that song, you know, even though he didn't get the credit for it, but he wrote the song. So Sylvia Robinson, you know what I mean? Her and her husband came out with Sugar Hill Records. And the first group that she brought, a male group she brought out, was Sugar Hill Gang. And, you know, and then next she brought out the Sequence. We're getting to that later. But Sylvia Robinson and her husband, that's keep it a bean, they was gangsters. You know what I mean? So a lot of people that was on her record label, they felt some type of way about how she did business. And they said a lot of her business was shady, which is absolutely true. And she was being funded by the Italian mafia. So her record label, you know, she was getting the funding from the Italian mafia. Her husband, straight gangster. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that was on Sugar Hill Records, they was getting millions of dollars took from them. You know, there was so many lawsuits and things like that that she had to shut it down, and then she bring out more people and try to revamp her situation and things like that. But you know, we still got to give props to where props is at. Go to the next slide. She brought out a lot of. I mean, this was a stunning looking woman. I mean, you talking about
wasn't like the music industry just corrupt like back then anyway?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, she was in the
music seemed to have a sleazy edge to it back in the early.
That's a fact.
Everything was sleazeball. Like I don't know.
That's a fact.
And I
she
heard a story.
If you can find a little piece on Sylvia Robinson,
huh?
If you find a little piece on Sylvia Robinson, if you can just show a little piece, that'll be cool. Because you can show like little documentary pieces. You can do that. You know what I'm saying? Music is different, but when it's like doco, you can show that. That's public domain. But I was saying like she was in this sleazy, shady business, and it was a man's world at that time. So she had to keep up, and I'm not justifying, you know, what she did, you know, and it took money and things like that. But, you know, situations happen.
Was she a rapper as well?
Lawsuits, and, you know, she lost a lot. No, she was a singer. She was a singer in the 60s. You know, like she had hit songs and all that. Like Sylvia Robinson was the truth. And then from there, She is the one that, you know, brought out hip hop like serious on record, even though, you know, you got the Watts Poets and all that out there in California. They saying that they also brought out a rap album in 1978, which is true. But the thing with Sylvia Robinson, she specialized in straight rap music. You know what I mean? That was the very first rap record company out, hands down. But go ahead, if you want to, you know, share a little bit.
Sylvia Vanderpool was born in Harlem in 1935, the youngest daughter of immigrants from the Virgin Islands. In the 40s and 50s, Harlem was...
Huh?
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No.
Filled with music, gospel in churches, jazz in clubs, and rhythm and blues on the radio. As a teenager surrounded by music, including an older sister who had already become a successful opera singer, it was almost inevitable that she was going to follow a similar path. As she later recalled, I was singing since I was about 11 or 12 years old. I used to go under the name Little Sylvia and would take weekends away from school to do the review shows. By her teens, Sylvia was torn between steady work and chasing music. Then she met Joe Robinson, who steered her firmly towards singing.
I wanted to be a nurse, but I just gotten out of high school and I met Joe and he turned my mind around. He said, no, you can make more money singing. So I went into singing instead of nursing.
With Joe's encouragement, Sylvia doubled down on music. Under the name Little Sylvia, she cut her first track in 1950, Chocolate Candy Blues, alongside jazz trumpeter Hot Lips Page.
Chocolate, 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 candy's everywhere.
And followed it with singles like Drive Daddy Drive and How Long Must I Be Blue. Around this time, she also began guitar lessons with respected New York session player Mickey Baker, a partnership that would soon change both of their lives.
Sylvia was a guitar student of mine. At the time, there was Mary Ford and Les Paul. The music was very nice, but they couldn't perform it on stage. So I said, we'd take the two guitars and we'll figure out a way to make Mickey and Sylvia and do it on stage.
That act, Mickey and Sylvia, officially formed in 1955, a mix of guitar-driven R&B. Over the next couple of years, they released a few tracks like No Good Lover and I'm So Glad, that were regional hits but didn't really garner any mainstream attention. Whilst touring on the R&B circuit, Sylvia saw Bo Diddley perform a call and response routine at the Howard Theatre. She told him it could be a hit, but when his label dismissed it, she got his blessing to rework it. The result was Love Is Strange, their breakout single.
Love is strange.
That was her?
It was her inspiration that made me record the song in the first place. She has a nose or an ear for.
That was her that sang that song?
Yes, it was.
That was on Dirty Dancing.
Listen,
guys, remember Dirty Dancing, the movie? That was a song.
I remember that. And watch, they're going to bring up, wait until you hear the songs from the 60s. You're going to be like, oh, that was her too? Watch. Yeah. Sylvia Robinson wasn't no joke. Where they say Sylvia Robinson
Sylvia's instincts were already clear.
Hold on, pause that.
She's from Harlem.
She's from Harlem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, she's from Harlem. Okay, go ahead.
She knew when something had hit potential, even when others dismissed it. And those producer instincts only sharpened. In the early 60s, while still performing, she wrote and arranged It's Gonna Work Out Fine for Ike and Tina Turner.
Oh, darling, yes, I think it's gonna work out fine.
But like many women in the business, her name was left off the credits. As she later recalled, I paid for the session, taught Tina the song, and that's me playing guitar. It was a huge hit, earning Ike and Tina their first Grammy nomination. By her mid-20s, Sylvia had already lived a full career. Singer, guitarist, songwriter, and producer. But she was already looking towards something bigger. By the late 60s, Sylvia was ready to move from performer to behind the scenes. Alongside her husband, Joe Robinson, she founded All Platinum Records out of Englewood, New Jersey. From a converted house, All Platinum grew into a self-contained label with its own studio and in-house team of musicians, songwriters, and producers.
We have 2 studios now, which gives the producers their chance to get into the studios when they want to. They come in at night, work all night if they care to, and we have a mastering room.
The label quickly found success with soulful vocal groups, most notably The Moments. Sylvia wasn't just behind the scenes, though. In 1973, she staged a comeback of her own with the Sultry Pillow Tour.
I had no plans of doing it myself. I took it to Al Green and Willie Mitchell, and it was a bit too sexy for Al.
The track hit number 1 on the R&B chart and top 5 on the pop chart. A bold, provocative record that cemented Sylvia's reputation as someone ahead of her time. Even a casual fan.
Pause it.
But you know what? Most artists that started off as artists ended up being like label owners, and I'm gonna tell you what, Maybe it's because of back in the day how treacherous it was for them. That when they became a label owner, it's like it was the same. They had that same cutthroat kind of thing.
Right.
Because the music industry was very cutthroat back then. It was very like, I don't know.
And isn't it deep? Like all these songs, like that Polo Talk song, I love that song, and I never knew that was Sylvia Robinson, that the one that got Sugar Hill Records. I never knew that until maybe like a few months ago. Like I didn't even know that Sugar Hill Records was founded by a Black woman.
I knew it, but I didn't know that she was already a
until probably like 15 years ago.
Writing Tina Turner songs and stuff. I mean, I didn't know she was.
Yeah, I didn't even know she wrote that song until you just played it.
That's crazy.
I just found that out just now. I didn't even know that. I thought Ike wrote that song.
But that actually tells you why there was so much musicality with that first record they came out with, that bass line, because that's that funk type of stuff. Back then people knew how to have musicality, not just rap, but also be able to have a musical aspect of it. That hook, that don't everybody knows that hook,
Call could spark Sylvia's instincts. While on the phone to the Playboy Mansion, she was struck by the voice of the receptionist on the other end. As she later stated in an interview, "I thought her voice would be perfect for this track I'd been thinking of, so I had her come over." That receptionist was Shirley Goodman, and together they recorded Shame, Shame, Shame. Released in 1975, it became an international hit and proved Sylvia could see where the culture was heading long before anyone else. But even with hit records, the business was brutal. A distribution deal with Chess Records collapsed, leaving All Platinum with stacks of unsold vinyl and no way to get music into stores. By the late 1970s, cracks were showing. Artists complained of unpaid royalties, releases stalled, and All Platinum's once vibrant roster began to drift. From the outside, it looked like the end. But in reality, Sylvia was about to make the boldest gamble of her life. By the late 1970s, disco dominated the charts. R&B labels were...
So you can see the cutthroat of the music industry. So we can see that when we see the later tactics that Sylvia Robinson is going to be using, it's going to be based off of her experience and what was available at the time. Because you got to remember, the music industry was being controlled, by the small hats and the muscle, the Italian mafia. So when you got these things going on, you got to get in where you fit in. Like we seen Big Red on the 5 Heartbeats say his hours was from 9 to 5. And when dude was talking, when he was talking and he wanted that paper, he had him dangling over a balcony about to lose his life. That's how cutthroat and deep the industry was at that time. So, and again, I'm not justifying Sylvia Robinson, but I want to commend her strength to go head on against, the power structure at that time that was being ran by men. And even though, she took a lot of money from the artists and scammed them, but at the end of the day, she still was a pillar in the foundation of hip hop going on vinyl. You know what I'm saying? So we can't forget her contribution. And we're going to continue to watch this. DJ Genesis, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. Continue on.
Struggling, and hip-hop was still a street phenomenon, born at block parties in the Bronx, but not yet on record. Since 1973, DJs like Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash had been spreading the sound of hip-hop, but this was live culture, 2 turntables and a microphone. That changed in the summer of 1979. Sylvia Robinson found herself at a party where for the first time she heard an MC rapping over music. Talking about her son Joey, she stated, "Joey had hired some local DJs to provide music, and they had this MC with them. Well, I had never even heard anyone rap before. I just thought it was fabulous, and I knew that minute that I had to put this new music onto a record." At the party, Lovebug Starsky was on the mic, rhyming over Chic's Good Times. It It was the record every DJ was playing that summer.
A bunch of kids would take it over with boomboxes, or sometimes they'd even have a proper mobile DJ, and they would play the break to my song Good Times, and they would just rap and rap for hours and hours and hours. I had never seen anything like that.
For Sylvia, that was the spark. She saw a way to take the energy of those parties and put it onto a record. Next, all she needed was some MCs.
She went and auditioned Hank down at the pizza place where he worked. Hank closed the pizza shop early, and he jumped in her beautiful teal Oldsmobile 98, and he started to rap. Master G was walking down the street, walked up to the car and said, "Hey, what's going on?" Joey said, "We're going to make a rap record." Guy jumped in the car. They go up to Mrs. Robinson's mansion. I go up there with my DJ. I said, I can rap. She said, I can't decide between the three. I'm going to marry the three of you.
That was the birth of the Sugar Hill Gang. Within days, they were in the studio, recording over a live band replay of Good Times.
It was originally a 19-minute song, and we did it without stopping. We edited it down to 15 minutes, and we gave it to the radio station. "Oh, man, we can't play that." They put it on, and the phones blew up.
Others thought the idea was crazy, a rap record on vinyl, but Sylvia didn't waver.
I'm the type of person that never liked to copy things that are out there. I always like to come with something new, and I felt as though if I came with a concept like this, either it was going to hit or it was going to miss, and I really felt strong that it was going to be a hit.
When rappers...
Man, you know what's so crazy? A 15-minute song? Honey, these people nowadays can't make a song that lasts 2 minutes. These people was rapping straight through for 15 minutes straight, taking turns. And I remember even like back in like the during the chopped and screwed era of Texas, like they would be rapping over the slow beats, and they would be rapping for hours. I think it was this one beat that they like 3 hours long tape where they just kept going and going and going over this one track. Just but back then people would just go and go and go and
Absolutely.
rap. And, now people when they can't do 15 minutes rapping.
Yeah, back in the day, Cass was rapping like 15, 20 minutes. That's the era I came from. That's why when you hear my albums, notice that my verses, I don't go by no 8 bars, 16 bars. I just rap what I feel. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I was back in them days. And I noticed, no disrespect to the man right here, but notice they always start that hip hop narrative with 1973 and Kool Herc. That's false. That's false. You know what I'm saying? The reality is, first off, Kool Herc didn't even put that party together in 1973. That's number one. That was his sister. And it was the party or this jam they put together up on Cedric, 1526 Cedric Ave in the South Bronx, the West Bronx. You know what I'm saying? That has something to do with them, their mother and sister getting together to do a little party so they can get school clothes and all that. You know what I mean? That the generation of money to get school clothes, but nobody not telling us that Kool Herc, you know what I mean? Used to go up to Bronxdale and watch DJ Disco King Mario DJ. You know what I'm saying? Because his sister was dating a black spade. So we know the history. And I always ask, they always talk about 1526 Cedric Avenue, and this is where the first jam. No, it wasn't, man. Because my whole thing is, what was they doing the day before yesterday? Y'all making this seem like it just started right there. No, that's foolishness. So we gotta, what was going on before that? You had DJ John Brown, you had DJ Disco King Mario. DJ Disco King Mario was already out doing the jam way before Herc was even thinking about being a DJ. Because we know that when he got involved in hip hop, he was a graffiti artist. That's DJ Kool Herc started off as a graffiti artist. Everybody know that know about hip hop. And then because of his influence, being influenced by DJ John Brown and and DJ Disco King Mario and Cool DJ D and all them dudes, you know what I mean? That's when he decided, boom, I'm the mixologist, all them cats. Then from there, he developed him to being a DJ. But before that, he was a graffiti artist. But continue on, because you poured out a nice piece, and that's why I love working with DJ Genesis, because she know how to take my PowerPoints and bring them alive with clippings, and they ain't even see my PowerPoint yet. But continue.
It's the light.
No, I'm serious.
Radio stations were flooded with calls. The single sold over 2 million copies. Rap, once confined to block parties, was suddenly a global phenomenon. By trusting her instincts, Sylvia Robinson pushed hip-hop into a new stratosphere. After the shockwaves of rappers' delight, Sylvia Robinson didn't stop. Sugar Hill wasn't just one record. It quickly grew into a full-blown label. She signed new acts, including The Sequence, the first female rap group to release a record, along with funky 4+1, Treacherous 3, and Grandmaster Flash in the Furious 5. To back them, she built the Sugar House Band, a tight funk unit who gave the records their polished live feel.
She would produce, arrange, she would jump on that console and mix those records down. She came from live music and live instrumentation.
Stop it. Do y'all see what this woman has done? She the one that put out there, don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
She was producing that stuff. Huh?
She was bringing all this stuff out, man. Yeah. I don't know about the producer, but I'm talking about the label. This was all her label.
She said she was the producer behind a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, she was. She was.
So it's that's like crazy. She was like a Patrice Rushen, even better. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, female producer. There you go.
Yeah. I told you this first Earth Goddess.
She was the Missy Elliott before Missy Elliott. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And here's the thing is that I want to say this is that, the other group that we talked about, they were saying that they were not given a fair deal, but were they more live and not necessarily studio? Is that why they got overlooked? Like, whereas the other people were like studio artists? Is that why that first group? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just wanted to give a shout out to I had Afro Beats producer Wise Man. He was just on the phone. He's watching us now. So I had him on. He was like, I'm gonna call you right back. I'm listening to you, but I'm gonna call you right back. But shout out to Wise Man. You know what I'm saying? I got DJ Genesis here. Say shalom. Give a shout out.
Shalom
to Wise Man, Afro Beats producer Tanzania. He can hear you, DJ Genesis.
Shalom, how are you doing?
There you go. He can hear you. He can hear you.
Here's a live. So, make sure you share it with your friends so people can see it.
Tell him one more time. Tell him one more time, DJ Genesis.
Make sure you share the live so more people can see it.
Absolutely. So shout out to Tanzania, Afrobeat / hip hop producer Wise Man. He did some producing on my album Journey to the Dark Side of the Moon, also War Cloud, also on some of my singles on my new album coming. It's basically done. We just getting the rest. Y'all see a lot of the singles on SoundCloud. That's Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. So shout out to Wise man. Real talk. Hallelujah. But let's continue on. So where we left off at, DJ Genesis?
No, I was just saying is that the group, what was the first group that we talked about? The Mercedes. Your voice went out. The Mercedes.
Yes, the Mercedes ladies.
Mercedes ladies. So why? So do you think the reason why they didn't get a deal was because they didn't have any men, or was it because they just didn't go into the studio? They were only like live doing stuff live and didn't actually go into the studio. Because it seems like all these other people are really studio artists that were kind of created by
That's
Sylvia.
that's Sylvia Robinson is the one that created Sugar Hill Gang.
Right.
Not
maybe she didn't
Grandmaster
want to be a
Flash.
part of something she didn't create. I don't know, because they were already
Created, she didn't create. She created. She didn't create Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, nor the sequence, because we're going to get into that, because them girls grew up together, and when we get there, we get. But there were a lot of acts that she actually did create, and I'm telling you, that was definitely Grandmaster, excuse me, Sugar Hill Gang, and the story how she did it and how she was just connecting them, and then came out with that Rapper's Delight. Listen, that was like when she came out with that, even though and give a shout out to Grandmaster Cash, because he the one that wrote that John, you know what I mean, and get the credit. But and if y'all don't know who Grandmaster Cash is, he a part of what's known as Cold Crush. You know what I mean? Somebody said if it wasn't for Sylvia, there would be no Prince. Yeah, that's true. There were. Damn, you getting into Prince now. A lot of people don't know that about Sylvia Robinson. If it wasn't for her, it wouldn't be no Prince. I already know. You know what I mean? But you taking away the show, Kenneth. You taking away the show. But absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that she had ties with Prince. You see what I'm saying? So we talking about mega stars that she brought to the surface. What you say about that, DJ Genesis?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, she was an amazing woman, and you'll be surprised how many women are behind so much in the music industry, but they never get any kind of notice. So I'm glad that we're doing this today to actually give some props. There was a lot of women behind Motown, a lot of women behind a lot of these labels, like Rough Rider, all these different labels that you see come out. It's usually a woman behind. Even Rockefeller,
Facts. So, that's a fact.
Rosie, whatever her name is, she's behind. There's a lot of women that be behind the scenes pulling the strings. So let's go.
And everything that she put on all of the records were all live instruments. So she knew how to EQ those things and make it right. She was a genius at what she did.
The first time hip hop was moving from block parties to big stages, Sugar Hill acts toured the country, performing in theatres and on television. What had once been a Bronx phenomenon was now national. But Sylvia wasn't content with party records alone. She was always looking for the next step. Sylvia later recalled, "After we recorded Flash's album, I said to Flash, I have a tune here that would make you bigger than anything." I played it to him and we recited the raps to him. Thing is, after that, he kept calling me aside and he would say, "Miss Rob, what would our fans think if we did a song like that? We do party songs." Flash refused, but Sylvia didn't back down. She took the idea to Melly Mel.
I didn't want to do the song. We rapping about partying, we having a good time. I understood it, but I didn't think that it was going to work. Nobody thought that it was going to work. Even Sylvia Robinson, she was the only one that believed in the song.
Written largely by Duke Booty and voiced by Melly Mel, the track was a stark portrait of urban struggle, a million miles from Rapper's Delight. And once again, Sylvia's perfectionism shaped the final sound.
We went in, we did the song. She kept it on the board for 3 days, 72 hours. She taped the board. She didn't want nobody to come in the studio. She wanted the mix to be perfect. Perfectly perfect.
Released in 1982, the message was undeniable.
Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge.
It redefined what rap could be, not just party music, but social commentary.
When the song came out, I think it was in 1982, Planet Rock was the hottest record out. They was playing Planet Rock and they took it off and then they put the message on and it worked.
Sylvia would later explain, it was reality. At the time, everybody knew people living in the projects. When an artist writes a true story, that's what works for everybody, because that's what they can relate to. Right, time for a quick break before we move into Sylvia's legacy. I just wanted to let you know about my sample label Loop Kitchen, where we make soulful, nostalgic samples. Full compositions you can shop and flip for your beats. Check out. And if you just want to test the waters, and to join our beat battles. And you can find the link for all of those in the description. By the mid-1980s, hip-hop was shifting. Def Jam, Run DMC, and a harder stripped-down sound were taking over.
Stop it.
Sugar Hill's polished live band style.
Stop it. Yeah, with Sylvia Robinson, I heard there was they had some form of connection with Warner Brothers, Prince and Sylvia. They they were just like associates, but they didn't. I don't know if she didn't bring out Prince. No, because if I'm not mistaken, Prince, you know, he comes from out of Minneapolis. I know that. You know what I'm saying? And I know, you know, I don't know. So,
well, I think they
you know,
probably was like in the clubs doing performances. I don't think
right,
I don't think they was recording.
right. But you can go ahead. Now you see what that rapper's delight.
But then again, Prince wrote a lot of, I don't know, he wrote for a lot of people behind the scenes as well. So I don't know, maybe not, you know. Prince was already, I heard he wrote some stuff for the Barge as well. I don't know. I think that Prince was doing stuff.
Yeah, that, yep. We showed that Pillow Talk. Yep. She did bring out, Prince and stuff. Yeah. I just, you know what? I just watched the Bobby DeBarge story. I just watched that movie the day before yesterday. It's funny you just brought up the DeBarge, but I just was watching. They had it rough, man. They had it rough. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Did they have a father that's similar to like a Jackson, like the Jacksons? Was they like kind of like treated like that?
Man, so without
we might need to do the series of just different people.
Yeah, listen, I was misinformed because I used to always think that El DeBarge, were like Hispanic or something like that.
No, they're French or something like that, like Louisiana or something like that.
I'm about to break it down. Because I just seen the documentary and the movie, and then I did some research online. So, I'm just telling you, just like they try to say Sasa and Trixie and all these people, they listening to a name and they Disco King Mario, and they was like, oh, they Hispanic or Puerto Rican, and they weren't, they Black American. Well, I did the same thing because I heard the word El DeBarge. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, and I'm looking at the slick hair and how they look. I'm like, oh, they Spanish, but that's not true. They ain't got no Spanish in them. They Pop was a white ball. Pop was a white ball from down south, Irish ball, or English dude, you know what I'm saying? And their mother was FBA or Black American, African American. And the stuff, it was all boys and one girl. The girl name is Bunny. You know what I mean? You got Chico, all these different dudes, right? And the stuff that the Pop was doing to them children was so diabolical. Like, I'm talking about beating up on the wife and, sexually abusing his daughter, taking her up to the attic and, doing, awful things to that little girl, you know what I'm saying? And beating up. And since Bobby was the oldest, Bobby, he was beating him up and calling him a sissy, making him wear dresses and all kinds of stuff. It was horrific, man. And sometimes Bobby would take it out on this other DeBarge brother. I forgot his name, but he was married to Janet Jackson for like a year. You know what I'm saying? Because Bobby was with LaToya Jackson because Jermaine Jackson they were the ones that brought out El DeBarge. Originally, out of the DeBarges, you first had a group called Switch. So it was, Bobby DeBarge and some other people, and they called them Switch because they could sing and then switch and play instruments at the same time, and they all could do it in this group. So they called them Switch. I call your name, girl. Oh, that's Bobby DeBarge. And then from there, Bobby brought his sister and a few of his brothers to Motown through Jermaine Jackson. Because you got to remember, Jermaine was with Barry Gordy's daughter. and he got children with her. So he brought the sister and the brothers, a couple other brothers, and they became known as Elder Bars. And they came out with the rhythm of the night, and there's some moon on the night, that all that stuff. But yo, you gotta see the movie.
Yeah, we're gonna do a show about that too.
The movie, the acting is.
We'll probably do a whole series just talking about different artists. Just, I think this is a good beginning.
I think that's what me and you should do that.
Yeah,
you
like
know
talk
what?
about the
We can make a
background.
spin-off. Yeah, we do it probably like once a week or twice a week, probably like Sunday and Friday, something like that. You know what I'm saying? But one for man, one for woman, one for male group, one for female group, and do that and see where it take us. But
yeah, because there's a lot of crazy stuff that happened to these artists back in them days. Even this story with her,
Absolutely.
like, come on, like, I mean, he probably not gonna get into the treachery that happened during that time.
Absolutely.
But, you know,
somebody said Kenneth Russell 1158 said she was so creative and she wrote songs for other art. She did. She absolutely did. Again, man, and you know, and may Sylvia Robinson rest in completeness within the Azuletic world of existence. She passed away, and you know, her son is still around, you know. And one thing, you know, I can say about many of the artists that's still alive that was on Sugar Hill Records, they give her props, even though they might have had like financial issues with her and they had to go to court and settle things out and things like that. But when Sylvia said she was going to make a person a star, she made him a star. Now, and they got money, but she got millions out of them. She got millions out of them. And, you know, everybody that went up against her that was on Sugar Hill, they all won. All the artists won, and they getting their monies. You know what I'm saying? To this day, they're getting them royalty checks behind that. So, you know, again, remember, as you enter the live, feel free to hit that like button. And if y'all feel as though what me and DJ Genesis is doing, you know, covering hip hop, R&B, you know, R&B soul, hip hop soul, whatever, y'all like this, you know, continue to support the channel, Alchemizing Energy, and maybe that idea come into fruition what DJ Genesis is talking about. But go ahead, hit that. And I wanted to say, we can't just go over Sylvia Robinson fast. I knew this was going to happen. I didn't tell DJ Genesis how impactful this PowerPoint was going to be. And it's hard to just, you know, talk 5 minutes, be like, yeah, you know, she, you know, created Sugar Hill, right? All right, bye. You can't do that because it's so much richness involved in this situation here with this one sister. You know what I'm saying? And how she was able to now give form to hip hop, because it was a formation amongst us in the Bronx, yeah, and outside the boroughs, and you know, things like that. But you know, she put it out there. Boom. She put it out there. You know, I ain't even going to get. Wait until you see the Philly artist that I ain't even going to go there. It's going to play out. But continue on, DJ Genesis. I'm enjoying this.
Felt dated. Behind the scenes, lawsuits and royalty disputes piled up. By 1985, the Sugar Hill empire Sylvia had built was collapsing, but the impact she had on the genre as a whole will never be forgotten.
What she did was she made the right record at the right time. Timing is everything. But that's what she was good about, because she did it before with Rapper's Delight. She made the right record at the right time. And to this day, those are still the top 2 records.
Sylvia Robinson does not get as much credit as she deserves. Sylvia was the first hip-hop mogul.
She would later be honored as the mother of hip-hop and inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And today, her fingerprints are everywhere. In the samples, in the records, and in the very idea that rap could be a global force. Sylvia Robinson didn't just witness hip-hop's birth on record. She helped deliver it to the world. When people...
May she rest.
So rest in peace.
Yep. Absolutely. I told you this was going to be a dope one. This is going to be a dope one right here. Yeah, Sylvia Robinson was something special, something real special. And we have to keep her memory alive. And she was, I used to have, listen, when I found out about her, I just had this big crush on her. She is so beautiful, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, this is the elegance of hip hop. So now we in sequence, you know what I'm saying? So here we are with sequence. Sequence is a very interesting, you know, element in hip hop as a female. I will call them the first female rap recording artist group. Now, the first female rap group we have on record, when I say on record, meaning known to us, is Mercedes Ladies, but they never came out with an album. And the crazy thing, right? The sequence is from South Carolina. They from South Carolina. And and one of the main rapper, one of the rappers on here is Angie Stone. So, but back in the day, in the 70s, late 70s, she was known as Angie B. And what happened in South Carolina, there was a concert, a Sugar Hill Gang concert. And the sequence, they was there at the time. You know what I mean? They might have a different name then. You know what I'm saying? And they managed to get backstage. So you had, Sugar Hill Gang there, Sylvia Robinson, they all there. So they telling Sylvia Robinson they can sing, they can dance, they can rap, they can do it all. So Sylvia Robinson was like, all right, then do something right now. So they doing a thing. So Sylvia Robinson, like, yeah, but she wasn't feeling them. So right before they left, they said, we got one more for you, Sylvia. One more, Mrs. Robinson. Mrs. Robinson, we got one more for you. So she like, all right, go ahead. Then they came up with this song, we're gonna funk you up, 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 right? So when they, or we're gonna get you funked all up, we're gonna get you funked, something like that, right? So when she heard this, and see if you can find it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, funk you up. There it is. There, play a little bit of that.
I keep going, I keep going, I keep going. Don't you give up? I keep going, I keep going, I keep going. Don't you give up? I keep going, I keep going, I keep going. We're gonna funk you right on up. We're gonna funk you right on up. We're gonna funk.
It's about to come up. Right.
That's
it right there. No, play it. No. Play it just for 2 seconds. Play it.
Right on up. We're gonna funk you right on up. We're gonna funk you right on up. We're gonna funk you right on up.
Stop it. Yeah, we're gonna funk you right on up. We're gonna funk you right on up. So when they said that, Sylvia Robinson looked at them and said, I'm gonna make you stars. And that's how the sequence came about. You know what I'm saying? And what's so interesting about them is, hip hop, or what is now called hip hop, started in the southeast section of the Bronx and Bronxdale projects, right? But if you listen to the sequence, you can hear the funk. And then they got the song Funk You Right On Up. We're gonna funk you right on up. You see what I'm saying? So you remember the foundation of hip hop is funk. And you hear the funk. You know what I mean? So it's just, you know, so that's definitely, you know, dope, man. The sequence, let's look at them. And then what did they say? It says the best of sequence, the sisters of rap. You know what I mean? You got the Monster Jam, the Funk You Up, Simon Says, Funky Sound. All their music was dope. All their music was dope. You know what I mean? You know, and they start touring all over, you know, the United States, Europe, and, you know, different places like that. And, you know, so the first one to get mad at Sylvia Robinson about the royalties and the bread, meaning the money, was Angie Stone.
Yeah, she said that they didn't get paid. She said they didn't get paid for that.
They wasn't getting paid. Yeah, they wasn't getting paid. So Angie Stone was like, man, fuck this. We going to court. So it was like, you know, one thing led to another. So Angie Stone left, you know, and she had like this other name, and she came out in the late, you know, 80s and all that, and with music, and then she changed it to Angie Stone, or she might have just became Angie Stone.
We were the only ones that didn't get paid.
Are you to this day?
To this day, everybody made a claim on that song for little or nothing, but we had the most.
Did you guys ever?
We were the only ones that didn't get paid.
Are you to this day?
To this day.
Wow. So that means what kind of contract did they sign? You know, but they just didn't get paid nothing.
It was worse. It was worse than the 360 deal. They was getting nothing. The only thing, listen, this is all they was getting. All they was getting was clothes, because they would do the shows, you know, expenses going to hotels, stuff like that. And they might get what is called a stifle, which they might have got
that's how those deals were dealt. It's like even TLC talked about how they didn't get paid.
Oh man, left out.
Would spend all that money on the art on their album and all this, and it's like, look, this is how you sell 1 million records and don't get paid nothing but 10,000. And it's like after they get done like padding the bill, you're not gonna get paid nothing. You're lucky just by being able to travel. But check this out.
Okay, I'm gonna just embark on a solo career. Like, what was that decision like for you?
Okay, I'd been in a 5-year contract with Sugar Hill along with the group. It was after that 5-year contract was met, was when I decided I didn't want to re-sign to the label. It was not because I wanted to leave the group. It was mainly because I did not want to stay with the company any longer. I just thought we weren't growing as individuals. We weren't making enough money. And I didn't want to waste another 5 years getting bamboozled. So I decided either we're going to leave together or I'm going to leave solo.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes you have to figure out like what's best for you. And I totally can relate and appreciate that. When did you decide?
Wow.
Run.
So that's how treacherous it was back then.
Yeah.
It was treacherous.
It was treacherous. And speaking of treacherous, they brought out, you know, she brought out the Treacherous 3. You know, that's with Kool Moe Dee and all them. Sylvia Robinson brought them out too. That's what I'm saying. The mega stars of that time when hip hop was coming in, you know, like blossoming to the world, she was the one pushing it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And look at how beautiful Angie Stone. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man,
They
Angie
like,
Stone
look
was,
at how classy the group was. Look at how
yo,
everybody.
Angie Stone was, oh my, Yahweh, you talking about, yeah, that's right. I'm gonna give my sister props. Yo, I used to love that hairstyle. Like how Angie Stone got her hairstyle. I used to love she got that round face, them chinky eyes, full, like that Cherokee, like round face. Oh my gosh. Banging. She banging, dog. Look. Angie Stone, she was a fine, as my late father would call her. She was a fine mamma jamma.
And let me tell you, like when she got with D'Angelo, people treated her really bad. You know, they were really rude to her. But I could see why D'Angelo was looking at her and seeing how beautiful she was.
Yeah. My sunshine has come. Yeah. There's no worry.
He said, I like round faces too.
Wait, let me see what they say.
I like round faces too, like Jill Scott, etc.
Yeah. I like the round faces. Yeah, I love y'all. And that picture right there, Angie Stone right there.
Peace, you'll be all right.
Man.
So
rest well. Now we in my neck of the woods. You can go to the next slide. Lady B in the place to be. Now, Lady B was, yeah, she was something. Now, she from, where I'm from, Philly, and Lady B is a straight pioneer in hip hop. And I want you to look up some stuff on Lady B because we're going to do this too. Now, Lady B, her first, albums came out in 79, but they say Lady B, No, Lady B not from Supersonic. Lady B, a solo artist. She from Philly. We're about to get into this as it pertains to Lady B. So Lady B is from Philly, right? Oh, there she go.
Say clap your hands, everybody, everybody clap your hands. Just clap your hands, everybody clap your hands. Allow me to introduce myself, they call me Mr. DJ. I got my name in the Hall of Fame about the DJ rounds I say now. Remember with discretion is advised, we're gonna take this trip aloud. Say the words I speak are very true, they're recommended by a triple crowd, you see.
Right.
What's up, man? My name is Lady B in the house in the zone.
So Lady
when I rock to the rhythm,
right.
rock to the beat, in
Lady
a
B.
moving beat. They used to all right like, and when I rap to the
Listen.
rhythm, rip to the beat, rap to the rhythm.
Right. So with Lady B, right? Lady B is known to start rapping roughly around 1977, right? But she used to go back and forth to New York. This is what a lot of people don't know. So she used to go back and forth to New York and getting the mixtapes of cats rapping from the Bronx and all that, going to Philly. You know what I'm saying? And, she's stepping up her craft. So Lady B, her first track was To the Beat, Y'all. To this day, you'll hear cats like To the Beat, Y'all, to the beat. That actually comes from Lady B. You know what I mean? And she was on a local Philadelphia label known as TEC Records, right? But then she later got released by Sugar Hill Records under Sylvia Robinson. And from there, everything she brought out came off of Sugar Hill Records. I told you, see this connection with Sylvia Robinson and these different artists. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Lady B definitely, you know, is somebody to, you know, not forget. And she began her career, I say roughly around 17, 18. And then what made it dope with Lady B, she did something that no other rapper has ever done at this time. Not only was she a rapper, but she also was a disc jockey. And, you know, because, you know, she, you know, solidified herself as a rapper going up New York and all that. So she wound up start becoming a disc jockey in 1979 on a station known as what? 1340 AM. And then later she, you know, created something called Street Beat on Power 99 FM. And she was introduced, and, you know, a lot of people don't even know that it was Lady B that introduced LL Cool J and Big Daddy Kane to the market. Y'all ain't know that though. Y'all ain't know that. Lady B, you know what I'm saying? She's a world-renowned Black American radio DJ and a rapper. And she's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She an old head, but very beautiful, born 1962. Beautiful. And she was, and like I said, she was going back and forth to New York and bringing these mixtapes. And then from there, she was playing them, you know, on the radio. So she basically, even though we was doing hip hop in Philly earlier than that, but I'm talking about on the radio, Lady B brought that to the radio in Philly. Lady B did that. This is a woman. This is one of the first earth goddesses of hip hop. Show another picture of Lady B. And try to find something where Lady B speaking, because I want the people to hear her voice. Go to the next slide.
Welcome back. It's time to meet our special co-host today. She's going to help us out this afternoon. Let's have a big welcome for Lady B. How you doing? Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's start by telling everybody, first of all, when you're on and what your shows are all about. So when are you on?
I'm on Friday nights from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. And that's the Friday Night Jam, where I get you with some funk and some body slam.
All right. And what's your Saturday show about?
Saturdays afternoons from 3 to 7, I'm known as the Queen of Rhapsody. I'm mixing on the turntables and I'm rapping viciously.
It's crazy to believe it's been 30 years. Seems like yesterday. We were writing rhymes and tagging t-shirts and going downtown for Dookie Dope earrings. And now look at us. We have children, grandchildren. 30 years, 3 decades. Wow.
Lady B is Philly. I mean, bottom line, she's the queen of hip hop in this town.
Lady B was the first female on wax. She's the first DJ to play hip hop, and she's still the first. She's 30 years into the game.
She's the first one to play my first production record called Action by Orange Crush.
It seems like all my life, Lady B's been on the radio. You know what I mean? Because I don't think I started living into hip hop.
There was two things they would ask you when you send your record.
Stop. Go back a little bit. Go back a little bit with Russell Simmons. You heard what Russell Simmons said? And look at Shaw.
And she's still the first. She's 30 years into the game.
She's the first one to play my first production record called Action by Orange Crush.
It seems like all my life, Lady B's been on the radio. You know what I mean? Because I don't think I started living until hip hop.
There was two things they would ask you when you send your record, a rap record, to a radio station. Is Lady B playing it or is Mr. Magic playing it? If we the one playing it, you have a shot to get on the radio.
I don't think we will ever get
that plateau moment back ever. I don't think any of the new cats that's coming out or any of the new school children that's growing up right now will never understand the plateau listening to Street Beat with Lady B.
Street Beat on a Sunday, taking you back to the glorious old school. Ain't no party like an old school party, because an old school party don't stop.
Is she still on the radio right now in Philadelphia?
Yeah, she's still on the radio to this day. That's what I'm saying. Like, she lasted even longer than Mr. Magic and them. Like,
and she seemed to be the first before Funk Master Flex and all of
she way before them.
Yeah, breaking
Yeah,
records.
she way before Funk Master Flex. Yes.
What was the other guy?
Yes.
DJ. It was a DJ, another DJ that used to break records. It was another one in New York. What's his name? DJ
Magic?
No, the dark skinned one that he everybody used to come to him to break their record.
I know that you talking. I'm about to say DJ Red Alert, but he light skinned.
Dark skinned heavyset guy. He was known for breaking.
Oh, you talking about Funk Master Flex?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's way before Funk Master Flex. Yeah,
so she was breaking all like the hip hop.
No joke. Lady B was a rapper. Look, she was the very first before anybody, before a man
Is this her
or
too?
a woman. She was the very first. Y'all on the left hand side. She was the very first female rapper / DJ at the same time before anybody, before a man or a woman on the radio. That is a fact. That's a fact. There was nobody that ever done that but Lady B. She was a rapper and a disc jockey at the same time. And she was going back and forth to New York. And the Philly was here in New York music through Lady B, because Lady B was going to New York, getting all the music and bringing it back and putting it on the radio. Because you got to remember, at this time, hip hop wasn't getting no ear from the commercial radio stations, the national radio stations. They wasn't playing it. Hip hop was being played through like local radio stations. You know what I'm saying? Them free public broadcast stations. So it would only go to a certain mile radius, so to say. They were the only ones that was hearing it. The whole world wasn't hearing it. So the frequency wasn't reaching the Philly. So Lady B would go to New York, get the mixtapes, bring them back, cut them up, you know what I mean? And even at times they would pick certain songs and put them on vinyl, on records, so they can cut it. And all that. That's what they was doing back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the rap music back then, before it was even getting like printed, it was coming from people recording. You remember back in the day, DJ Genesis, people when you want to, either dub a tape or somebody, you got a blank tape, they'll press the record play. And from there, that's how they was getting the music when a person do a show live. So most of the original hip hop songs that were being played on the radio, all them joints was live performances, because nobody wasn't going in the studio recording anything. You see what I'm saying? So everything was live. You know what I mean? So, it was a dope era because everybody was coming raw and uncut. It wasn't, it wasn't no take three. It wasn't none of that. It was like what you spitting now is what you spit. Because back then, that's how they was passing these mixtapes around and everything was live. You know what I'm saying? So it was a dope time and a dope
I remember
era.
when we ever got MCMI. People call me Milk. When I go up in the club, I
Oh
feel
yeah, man. Milk is chilling.
up
Yes,
for
yeah,
these suckers
yeah.
that's down with me.
Down
You
with
know,
me. Right. They came.
was that a
That
mixtape? That song too. Milk is chilling. Giz is
yeah.
chilling. What more can
Right.
I say? Top billing. That's what we get. Got it good, man. That was a jam when it came out.
Yeah. But yeah, that was like in the mid 80s when that came out. Would you stop scheming and
Looking
looking
hard. I
hard?
got
I
a
got
great
a
big
great big
bodyguard. So step
bodyguard.
up if
Yeah,
you
I
want to
remember
get.
that. Want to get hurt. Yeah, that was the joke. That was audio. That was audio too.
Yeah,
That was
audio
audio
too.
too.
The two
Yeah.
audio. Yep.
Yeah,
And
Gizmo
look,
and
that
all
that
these
oh
cats.
that song probably that song is long as hell too. But I think it's because
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a live recording of him just getting on the thing doing it. You know, was
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Oh my gosh, it was a dope era, man. I was young. I was so young. We were young. We were like when that song came out. I might have been like 11. I was young, 10, 11. Yeah, when that
man.
came
Even
out.
it takes two like that. Like it, they all tried to have that sound like they were actually
Huh?
at a club singing. Like the way that
Facts.
their vocals, like they
Facts.
were recorded almost to sound like, you know what I'm saying, like they were over like a sound system. It's almost like it sound like that, you know. Was the rapping Duke? Was he live? Is that like a mixtape recording, or was that a studio?
What's that, DJ Jenny? Oh, audio too?
No, daha daha
Oh no,
daha.
that was studio. That was studio.
Oh, okay.
I know the whole story. I know the whole story how that came about.
We're gonna do a show about that coming up. So
Yeah,
get
yeah,
ready for
yeah.
that.
That's definitely classical. Play a little bit more of that Lady B that you showed. You know, you can do that because this is for you can do that. They won't strike you for that.
I knew what my life was going to be from age 7, but she changed my life. Keep it real.
Lady B is truly a blessing to the city of Philadelphia.
As a woman,
Did you see?
in the
Stop.
market,
Did you see Schoolie
the
D?
perception
You
that
seen
hip hop is so
Schoolie D?
sexist, but they all
The
welcome.
first gangster hip hop they just had. Look, you passed him already, but they just showed Schoolie D. Like that's the father of gangster rap. It ain't in Cali, it's in Philadelphia, and that was Schoolie D. And Schoolie D, he on there. You see, he talking about Lady B. Press play.
Much.
Well, the B depends on what you give her is what part of the B you get back. Because she is a lady by all means, believe that. But she can carry a big stick.
I'm just going to like speak from my heart. If it comes in my head, I'm just going to let it roll off my tongue.
I can't believe it's been 30 years. Like, I don't even know what to say to you, woman. Like, I grew up on you.
We made our own mixtapes, you know, back in the day, how we used to make our own mixtapes.
When Lady B show come on, you didn't have to press pause. It was just all music that you wanted to hear, including her voice. And I used to record her on my mom's 8-track machine. Now that tells you. And as a matter of fact, hold up. Here's one of the joints right here that I used to record.
Oh, remember that? I used to be recording Lady B. I was like 6, 7 years old. I was so fascinated with her. You know what I'm saying? And I would record on the 8-track. You know what I'm saying? And oh my gosh, you had to be there for Street Beat. If you were, oh my gosh, you had to be there. And it was just a time when you knew, you felt like you was part of a culture. And I would go out to the basketball courts, and cats was break dancing and popping, and we were doing our
Was you popping too? Was you break
own
dancing?
dances, and You know, because you know, huh?
Was you
So
break
what?
dancing and popping too? There's like a slight delay.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was
He
breakdancing.
was popping.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was popping. I was pop locking, breakdancing. I had a car, boy. I was dressing like breakdancers and all
I
that.
used to be a
Yeah,
break dancer too. I used to break as well. I used to be a break
yeah.
dancer. I had my moments of break dancing too.
The sister said, I like sweet tea. You know her? Oh man, sweet tea is the truth. You talking about beautiful? Oh my stars. Listen,
Lady B is
a lot of
hip
people don't
hop's
even go ahead, Lady
underappreciated.
B. A lot of people don't know. Watch this. Pause that. Let me give y'all a little brief history of pause it. Don't hold on. Yeah. I'm gonna give you since the sister said about sweet tea. A lot of people don't know Sweet Tea wind up revamping herself and becoming a rap artist called Sugar. Remember that song, What's Up, Star? I know who you are. Let's have drinks at the bar. What's up, Star? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that, DJ Genesis?
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. Yup. And a lot of people don't know that that's the same person. Sugar and Sweet Tea is the same person. You know what I mean? And Sweet Tea, she back out now. Yo, her album is dope. I ain't gonna lie. The music she dropping right now, whoo, fire. She fire. She still rap to this day. To this day. You know what I'm saying? Yup. But look at, oh man, we're about to get you. We coming for you. So we coming for you, Roxanne. We see you. Roxanne Shante. You know what I mean? Queen Bridge's finest. You know what I mean? 1984, age 14 with Roxanne's Revenge, sparking the Roxanne Wars and establishing the art of the rap battle. And that's just a fact because, you know, you ain't have no female rap battlers. Roxanne Shante brought that. Listen, after Roxanne Shante, you got the original Roxanne Shante, the real Roxanne. This is the Roxanne Wars, including her warring against UTFO. Remember that joint, Roxanne?
Yeah,
I want to be your man. That so Roxanne Shante came at them about that song, and this is the Roxanne Wars. So it's UTFO versus Roxanne, Roxanne Shante versus UTFO and everybody. You know what I mean? That listen, man. That I remember this war clear as day. Lady B was keeping us up. Look how they all connected, how I'm connecting the dots. So Lady B would keep us, you know, the street beat. You know what I mean? And it's funny, right? Her show is called Street Beat, right? Reverse it, Beat Street. You know what I mean? Beat Street. It's like a heartbeat. Then if you play my song, Beat Street, the king of the beat, I said the rockin' that beat from across the street. Beat Street, the king of the beat. I said the rockin' that beat from across the street. Beat Street, it's a lesson to Remember my song I got? You know what I mean? I dedicated that to pioneers of hip hop. But look at how beautiful. You gotta pull something up on Roxanne Shante. Listen, she's so classy, man. She hood, but classy. This her in 1990. That's who she
hip hop
talking
and rap are very strong, and they definitely use what they have to get what they want. And I give a lot of respect is due to Light, a lot of respect is due to Latifah, Salt and Pepper, And really, I give respect to where respect is due. And if I didn't say your name, then no respect was due to you.
Damn.
How old were you when you had
Stop.
I
She
really
gave
give
props.
respect where respect was due, but if I didn't mention your name, no respect was due to you. Damn.
What she said? She said, shout out to MC Light, Queen Latifah. I told you, you know how to pull out the right videos, DJ Genesis, because after Roxanne Shante, I get into Light and Latifah. No, I get into Salt and Pepper, and then Light and Latifah and all them. So it's just funny. Like, go back a little bit, rewind it a little bit. Go back to the beginning. Listen to who she gives shouts out to, and then what she said, then play, let you keep playing. Listen.
Women that have come up in rap are very strong. And they definitely use what they have to get what they want. And I give a lot of respect is due to Light. A lot of respect is due to Latifah, Salt and Pepper. And really, I give respect to where respect is due. And if I didn't say your name, then no respect was due.
Damn, stop it.
How old were you when you had your son?
Stop it. So who's coming next in this PowerPoint? Salt and Pepper, then MC Light, and then Queen Latifah. You see how all this is playing out? Now, you could have picked any video by Roxanne Shante, but you picked this video, and it's aligning with the PowerPoint. You see what I'm saying?
And I haven't even seen it.
Showing,
I don't even know what's coming up next. I'm just
right, and I ain't never seen this neither. So
no, I haven't seen the PowerPoint, and I've never seen this video. So I'm like,
right. That's what make this show so dope. And y'all have to subscribe to Alchemizing Energy. That listen to the name of the show, Alchemizing Energy. This is where it's being made manifest. This is how she able to pick the right videos without even seeing them. That's another story, another topic. But go ahead, press play. What'd she say?
16. Let me tell you a little bit about Shante.
No.
Shante is 19 years old. She has been entertaining for 6 years. Yeah, about 6 years now. And it's not as easy as people think it is. Entertaining is not all about the autographs and the selling records and the doing shows and everything like that. Entertaining is a hard job because it's a very hard job to entertain. It's the same thing as if you give a birthday party for someone and you want everyone to show up. You know, that's hard when you're trying to get a party together or whatever. And that's what I do. I party for a living.
Facts.
So in my spare time, I don't listen to any rap music. I listen to reggae, calypso, stuff like that. And I listen to old R&B. And I think the reason why I do that is because I more so raised myself in that era. When I say raised myself, I left home at a very young age.
She's beautiful.
And I haven't returned since. And I'm not encouraging other girls to leave home. Don't think that if you leave home, you're going to make a record and you're going to have a house and you're going to have a son and everything. So I'm not, there's no way that I'm encouraging that, but I'm just telling you about me. I then went back home. I started making records. I thank God for Tyrone Williams. He's my manager and he's also like my dad because you need boundaries. Everyone needs boundaries. Don't think that your parents set boundaries for you because they don't want you to do those things.
She's very
those
educated.
boundaries set your morals. In order for you to grow up and be a lady, you have to be raised by a lady. And if there's no lady around, then you don't know how to be a lady. So you set your own boundaries, which make you think that, well, this is what you think a lady should do, so that's what you got to do. And that's what I think. I got pregnant with my son at a very young age, which is a very common story all around the world. I'm not going to just say here, United States, or here in New York or whatever. But I got pregnant at a very young age, and my son's 3 now. I got pregnant at 16, and I'm a single mom. Being a single mom is not fun. It puts a lot of strain on you because you have to be provider, you have to be mommy.
Stop it. Watch this. Now, I want everybody to listen to this real fast. I'm about to play something. Y'all be able to hear it. Watch this. Watch this, y'all. What degree does Roxanne Shante have? Okay.
Is it playing it?
No, I'm just looking.
You gotta like.
No. Oh. Okay. Ah. Damn. Oh, I was just corrected on something, but damn. I listen, much respect to Roxanne Shante. I was misinformed about something, but I can't. I'm only telling you what they bringing up. So I always thought that Roxanne Shante had a PhD in psychology. That's what I thought. But from what they're saying is that it was a lie, it was a scam, and that Roxanne Shante openly apologized about it. So they saying Roxanne Shante does not hold a PhD or an undergraduate degree from Cornell University or Marymount Manhattan College, despite previous claims. Following a 2009 investigation by
But
SLAC.
she did get her bachelor's degree. She didn't get her PhD. She had her bachelor's degree.
Yeah,
So that's
it
good
says
too. I mean, how many
Yeah.
authors have their bachelor's degree? Like,
she does have a bachelor's.
she has her bachelor's degree. She didn't get her PhD. That was not true,
Right.
but she did get a bachelor's degree. So
Okay.
Marymount College, that she made the label pay for. She made the label pay for her education. Yeah. So
That's
that
dope.
part
That's
is true.
dope.
She just didn't
Right.
get the PhD that she was saying that she had.
Right. So again, you can tell this is
So shouts out
optimized.
to her for that too. Like it don't, you know.
But what's up? This got to be alchemizing energy because I'm sitting up here going into this information. I never told DJ Genesis I'm researching the information and bang, she right with me on point. And again, give a shout out to Roxanne Shante, because from what it looks like, from what it looks like, things happen, and there was an apology, she did it on vibe.com and things like that. But at the same time, as Alchemizing Energy was saying, she got her bachelor's degree and she's very, whatever reason she did what she did, but it does say, but it does say she went on to college, eventually earning a master's degree on psychology. So I'm looking it up now. Okay, yeah, so it's going into her whole joint, but at least she went as far as her master's. So it's all good. Hallelujah. Shout out to Roxanne Shante. And again, I didn't even know that was going to pop up because I didn't even know. Because the thing I remember, she had got her PhD. Boom, boom, boom. That's what I remember. So I wanted to surprise because, and the reason what made me bring that up is because that interview that she was doing sitting on the couch, and she was only 19 years old, and just her breaking down the boundaries of how a woman is to conduct herself, and the thing that I like about Roxanne Shante, and she's a dope lyricist, by the way, too, from Queensbridge. But what I do like about Roxanne Shante is she admitted to her faults and encouraged younger women, basically I can't tell you what to do, but I would never tell you the moves I did is right for you.
Right.
Or even right for me, but because of certain situations and circumstances, I had to do what I had to do. You know what I mean? And anybody that's into hip hop, you need to go watch the movie Roxanne Shante. That is a dope movie. If y'all haven't seen it, go see it. It's a movie, yo. It's about the life of Roxanne Shante. It's a dope movie. So if you didn't see it, you know, because she talked in there breaking down how, you know, she got pregnant at 16. She did. You know what I mean? She was messing with this older dude, you know what I'm saying? Like in his late 20s, something like that. Early 30s, I think. I don't know. Between 20s and 30s, something
New York
like
was
that.
wild back then. New York was wild.
Yeah, because a lot of them drug dealer dudes and dudes with money, they was messing around with a lot of them high school girls. That's a fact. That's a fact. So,
And then she
you
ended
know,
up being a single mom, taking care of that baby. But check this out. I want you to play this real quick. Let's watch it.
Taking the footsteps straight into Compton. But instead of the story of a West Coast gangster rap group, it's the story of a 14-year-old girl named Roxanne Shante, who started the biggest rap beef war in history. The original Roxanne Roxanne was sung by a group called UTFO.
I wanna be your man.
It's about a group of guys who try hitting on a woman, but you won't give them the time of day. So they diss her and they call her stuck up.
Stood me up, Roxanne, Roxanne.
It was catchy and it got UTFO some attention, but it was a little girl from the projects that made those dudes famous.
I was going to do my laundry one day, and one of the greatest hip hop producers, Molly Mall, lived right above the laundromat. And he was yelling out the window, "Listen, I need to talk to you. I need you to come up to my house." And I'm like, "Yeah, for what?" And he was like, "I heard that you were a great battle rapper, and I just need you to do a freestyle." And I said, "Okay, great, because I heard that you work at Sergio Valente, and I need some jeans." So I get upstairs and I get to his house, and I said, "Okay, so what's the beat?" And the beat happened to be Big Beat, which was boom, 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 bang. So he was
right. So all right. So I do want to talk about the difference between the beats, Big Beat versus this beat versus that beat. So people would rap over certain loops, right? So people knew, like, okay, this is Big Beat loop, this is the such and such loop, this is the blah 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 loop, you know, and that was a part of the culture as well. Certain loops that people would rap over, they would know what that loop was called, the breaks, the different breaks, you know, and so you know, so it wasn't just it was very surgical back in those days. Like you knew what the beat was, you know what I'm saying? So basically, what happened is they put out that Roxanne thing, and then she did like a track, like a battle rap against it. Let's go.
playing that. Right. And I said, "Oh yeah, this is the Roxanne beat." He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." He said, "So guys, hit me with a freestyle." And it started off with, "Well, my name is Roxanne, but don't you know?"
They called the song Roxanne's Revenge. It was a true freestyle, off the top of the dome and recorded in one take. UTFO heard it and recorded their own answer track.
Stop. They said it was off the dome. Like, listen, she spit like she did not make one mess up. It was off the dome, one take. That's it. And it turned to this. Press play.
Roxanne, and I rock your world.
Then another Roxanne diss track came out. Then another. It turned into a massive free-for-all. People now call it the Roxanne Wars.
Roxanne. You'll never have the Roxanne phenomenon again. It'll never happen again. I made one song and it had 83 songs made about me, specifically where they said Roxanne Shante.
83 songs.
That's a fact. Listen, I remember that shit. Listen,
but remember, like the light skin shot Roxanne came out. And
that was the real Roxanne. Yeah, that was the real Roxanne talking about at the end of the song, like the rabbit kicked the bucket, talking about Roxanne Shante. Listen, this is the original. This is the first Roxanne right here, Roxanne Shante.
And it's the first rap beef.
The first rap beef. Listen, the biggest rap beef technically, because you got to look, there was 83 songs made of this woman. 83? Come on, man.
She like what, 16?
Listen, when she came out, She was only like 14.
14.
She was 14. Yeah, she was 14 at the time. She was 14 years old. And all these different people coming at her. Come on, man. Come on, man.
And she was dusting them off.
And she was dusting them off. Like she was not to be played with on that battlefield, man. She was not to be played on that battlefield. I don't know what you thought today, but it ain't happening over here.
No other artist has ever had that.
Maybe part of why Roxanne's revenge touched a nerve was because at 14 years old, she dared to talk about how women have to deal with sexism and street harassment on a daily basis.
Hmm? So they're gonna talk how she got.
Go ahead. It's fine.
In fact, pretty much the whole freestyle was her telling men to stop bothering her. After just 2 albums, Roxanne Shante faded out of the spotlight. She says the movie explains what was going on behind the scenes in her life, but that story wasn't always easy to tell.
One of the most difficult scenes for me in the movie was having to walk away from my sisters when they were little, having to walk away from them. I just needed to kind of like get it together. And in order to get it together, I had to get all of the pressures off of me. So yeah, it was a very difficult moment.
Roxanne Shante now runs a volunteer program at a high school in New Jersey, mentoring young girls who need a positive role model. She says this movie is just another part of that mission.
There's so many Roxanne Shantes out there. And I think this is the story that they needed to see, where this wasn't the glamour and the glitz. This is the backstage. This is the before fame, still being in the projects, having a dream, wanting to do something with yourself, having to take care of siblings. So it's definitely the ultimate urban project girl, project princess story.
And you know what's so crazy about this is that, like, she was what people right now would consider a star, but she still had to be in the projects,
right,
cooking eggs, same for her sister.
Right.
You know, so shouts out to Roxanne.
Guess how it was back then. Like that was stars and stuff like that.
She became somebody. She was like 19 and had a kid at
Yeah.
16. You know,
That's a fact. And I remember back in the day, man, you know, when you was a star, a rap star, you still lived in the neighborhood. Like I grew up walking around 3 times dope, Steady B, EST, and I'm being around Larry and all them, and Bahamadia and Tough Crew and all these different people, Lady B and you know MC Breeze and all these different people. You just see, you know, Schoolie D walking down the street because it wasn't all these millions of dollars. It was for the love of hip hop. What was called hip hop. It was for the love of that. It didn't have nothing to do with how things are being defined now. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a dope era to be in. You know what I mean? I literally lived down the street from 3 times dope, aka I lived on 7 Hunting Park. Rob, aka EST, he lived 7th and Wing of Hockey, a couple blocks away from saying. So seeing that and just growing up and being in the midst of hip hop, look at her, man. This is hip. That's the B girl look. That's hip hop. That's her today. Beautiful queen. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Roxanne Shante. You know what I mean? And like she's dope and just educated, sophisticated. Now we into salt and pepper. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get into them. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know, you know, Pepper, she Jamaican. The other 2 Black Americans, but Pepper, she Jamaican. You know what I mean? Look, boom. Look at them. Look at how we look back. And that's that B girl look. We cultural and still they now, but now you're also seeing the evolution, DJ Genesis, of the aggression. And the reason why you see the aggression with the female or the first earth goddesses of hip hop, because reality, when hip hop came out and it started to go to the mainstream, it was like a male thing for real. Like if you was a female artist, you wasn't really getting heard. You wasn't. You really wasn't. So you remember when you first spoke about the Mercedes ladies and all that, how they were sounding feminine and all that. But as you go into Mercedes ladies, MC Sarah, the sequence, Lady B, all them, that was that feminine energy. And then you see a shifting with Roxanne Shante. Then you're going to get into the Salt and Peppers and Queen Latifahs and stuff like that. But I'm going to tell you, she wasn't the first one, gangster type, vibe, conscious. The first one was, you remember when we was doing a show on Bambaataa and you put up there this old female rapper, you remember DJ Genesis? What was her name? You just showed a picture of her. She be like talking. Are you there, DJ Genesis? Because I need to ask you the name.
It was Millie Jackson or Millie Jackson?
Millie Jackson. Listen, I went and listened to some old Millie Jackson music. She was like your first Public Enemy. You ever listen to her revolutionary rap music?
No.
What? You ever listen to her music?
I heard some of her stuff. Yeah.
You listen to her stuff. I mean, she on stage, it'd be like spoken word, like kind of talk, and she be rhyming when she do a comedian type stuff. But I'm talking about on record. She got this one joint where she talking about we the original people and the black race and white man, this, that, the third. So and she was rapping this before the message from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. So, when you talking revolution, like rap, like Millie Jackson might have been the first one to ever do it, like on a Public Enemy type tip. Like, that's just a fact. I mean, you got the Watch Brothers. So, and you got the Watch Poet, the Watch Poets. I mean, they was like 68, something like that, 70, between 68 and 70. I think it was 1970, that they came out with a rap album. I think it's called White Man or something like that, something White Man. Yeah. So what's this you got here?
All right, check it out.
Some roundaway girls doing our thing, being authentic, being real, being relatable to a lot of women and men. And that was a huge part of our success, as well as timeless music.
At 59 years old, Cheryl Salt James revealed the dark truth about Salt and Peppa and what Clive Davis and the industry built around them. You know the songs. You probably danced to every single one. But what you don't know, what the biopic skipped and the nostalgia tours never mentioned, is who actually owned the music, who kept the money, and what it cost the women who made it all possible.
Generally speaking, when you just grow up, you just get to a point where things will not be tolerated, and respect should be mutual. And when respect is mutual,
Two girls from Queens walked into a Sears break room, picked up a microphone on a dare, and accidentally built the most important female rap group in history. They went platinum when the industry said women couldn't rap. They won Grammys when nobody was giving them to hip-hop. They sold 15 million records and changed what a woman was allowed to say on a stage. And 40 years later, they don't own a single song. Not one. When these women finally stood on a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stage and said the names out loud.
Stop it.
Nobody's told you this version. Not the interview.
Stop it. And I'm going to tell you why. One of the reasons why they don't, because all their music was written by, what's that?
Herbie
Salt's boyfriend. What was his name?
Herbie Love.
Herbie Love. I ain't gonna lie, he's a beast. He's a beast. Like, listen, he wrote all kid. He was writing kid and play stuff. He was writing, you know, day stuff. I mean, everything. And listen, if they used to be called Supernature, that was the name of them two before Spinderella, because it was another one, and then it became her. But she was the second replacement, Spinderella. But out of the Salt and Pepper, them two is correct. They met at Sears joint. He was working.
Your own created Sugar Hill Gang.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a 100% fact. So Herbie and Salt, they were girlfriend and boyfriend. Pepper and Salt, they worked at this Sears joint together. So one day, Herb and them, they was all playing around, and it was like, all right, go ahead and rap, go and rap, and they sound okay. So he created a group known as Supernature, or you know, and they, you know, he wrote some stuff. They stuff was aggressive, like. So one day he went to Washington, D.C., and he listened. It wasn't at Washington, D.C., they did a show. Matter of fact, they did a show in Washington, D.C. with 2 Live Crew. When they first, like, before they was even majorly known, this is like 86, somewhere around there. So they heard 2 Live Crew in them, and they was like, they were corny. This is what, you know, everybody was saying about them. But Herbie seen something. So he merged the style they already had, and he lowered the lyrics so it can reach a wider audience. Because Supernature, they were like really like lyrical, like women, like rappers. So he changed the tone of it to catch the eye of people, and this is what you get right here. So, yeah. So
right,
every
he had to like to dumb it down.
Yeah, he dumbed it down. Yeah, and he said if it wasn't for him listening to 2 Live Crew, he wouldn't have never done it. So it was through the inspiration of seeing that and that go-go sound, you know what I'm saying, over there in DC and all that, and he just dumbed down the lyrics, and the world took him by storm. But they didn't own anything because Herbie the one wrote everything. He controlled everything. He had Salt, you know, on his thumb at the time, you know what I mean, because he was dealing with her, and you know, and as a matter of fact, if a lot of people don't know, Tretch's, you know, baby mother is Pepper.
Pepper, yeah.
From Naughty by Nature, his baby mom.
That new daughter that got beat up in the boxing match.
Yup, that's a fact. That's their daughter. Yup, that's a fact. And Tretch got all upset about that. Shout out to Tretch. I would have been upset too. You know what I'm saying? But you know, and Tretch new music is fire. You know what I mean? But yeah, go ahead, press play.
Views, not the biopic, not the podcasts. This is the story of Salt and Pepper and the empire they built but were never allowed to keep.
And to me, it was just a story about 2 friends that was together before we were business partners, before we were Salt and Pepper, and all the ups and downs of what that looks like.
Cheryl James wasn't trying to be a rapper. Neither was Sandra Denton. In 1985, they were 2 college students at Queensborough Community College in Queens, New York, working part-time at Sears to pay for textbooks and bus fare. James was born December 28th, 1966, in Brooklyn. Raised.
Oh, is that Lady of Rage? That's Lady of Rage. That's not even Salt.
Yeah, that's Rage, right? Fact. Go ahead.
Whoever did this AI didn't have the right picture.
In Queens, quiet, smart, the kind of girl who observed a room before she entered it. Denton was born November 9th, 1966, in Kingston, Jamaica. Moved to Queens as a child. Loud where Cheryl was soft. Bold where Cheryl was cautious. They met on the job, became friends the way coworkers do when the shifts are long and the pay is short. Cheryl was studying nursing. Sandra was studying business. Neither of them had rap on the syllabus. The rap thing started as a dare. Herbie Lovebug Azor, Cheryl's boyfriend and a student at the Center for Media Arts, needed someone to rap on a track for a class project. He'd written a response record to Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick's The Show and needed 2 female voices. He asked Cheryl. Cheryl asked Sandra. Neither of them had ever rapped before. They recorded The Showstopper under the name Supernature, and the track started getting play on local New York radio before the semester was over.
How did it end up on the radio? So did he like send it to the radio? Hey, what's up, Coach Villain? How did
you gotta
remember?
Because they all in the, that's you gotta understand. That's exactly what it is, because you gotta remember Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin, all them different dudes, and all these people.
College, right?
These is all college cats, and they passing and they working with connections they already have. You heard it said, where Herbie had a connection through Dougie Fresh. So, and so you see these different things taking place, but yeah, absolutely. So that's
That
how
was the beginning,
everybody
not of a career,
connected in
of a
that
contract. Eddie O'Loughlin at Next Plateau Records heard the buzz and signed them. The name changed to Salt and Peppa. A DJ named LaToya Hanson was brought in, then replaced by Dee Spinderella Roper, a teenager from Brooklyn who could scratch and hold a crowd. 3 women, 3 boroughs, 1 microphone. And behind all of it, 1 man pulling every string. Herbie Azor wasn't just Salt's boyfriend. He was the producer, the songwriter, at least on paper, and the manager. Every track on their debut album, Hot, Cool, and Vicious, released in 1986, ran through his production company, Nita Productions. His name.
So did he write every lyric and every thing?
Yes. Everything.
Wow. So I mean, you can't get mad at that. So, but wow, this shows how treacherous music can be, because they get thrown into this. They're like working at Sears. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, let's form a group. Next thing you know, it takes off, and you're pretty much
appeared on the songwriting credits. His company held the production deal with Next Plateau. Before Salt and Peppa had sold a single record, the ownership structure was already built, and it was built around Herbie Azor, not the women on the microphone. Hot, Cool, and Vicious became the first album by a female rap group to be certified gold, then platinum. Over 1 million copies sold, and the 2 women who made it happen, the ones whose voices and faces and energy moved those units, didn't hold the pen on a single contract that mattered.
Stop it. This is before they even made Salt and Pepper. This is on the Supernature album. They the first female rap group to go platinum. This is 1986. So all that money going in his pocket. They ain't seeing nothing.
A common thread that all these female artists did all this stuff and didn't get a dime from it.
Yeah, facts.
And they were getting greased up. The women in the independent industry get greased up. It's still happening.
Absolutely.
You hear Megan Thee Stallion, you hear Cardi B.
Absolutely.
I think the only person that ain't going,
but not like this though. Is it? Yeah.
So they were 20 years old, thrilled to be on the radio, grateful to have a deal. And Herbie's name was already on every page of every document that would determine where the money went for the next 40 years. Push It was never supposed to be the single. It was a B-side, filler on the back of Tramp. The track Next Plateau was actually pushing, but DJs in clubs across the country started flipping the record and playing the other side. The beat hit different. The energy was undeniable. And before the label could catch up, Push It was everywhere. By 1988, the song had climbed to number 19 on the Billboard Hot 100. The first song by a female rap act to crack the top 20, not just in hip-hop, on the entire Hot 100. And Salt and Peppa weren't asking for permission. They were demanding attention in a genre that hadn't made room for women at the table. let alone at the head of it. Then
Let me tell you something. Their hair, man, everybody, whatever hairdo Salt and Pepper had in every video, everybody was doing their hair like that.
That's a fact. I remember that. That's a fact.
whatever the hairdo, they was the ones that came
I
out
ain't
with
gonna lie. Salt and Pepper hair used to be dope.
I don't know who their hairdresser was, but honey, they used to come out with the style with the cut with the shave on the side. Before Cassie ever did it, it was Salt and Pepper that did that. With the shave on the side and stack on the other one, honey, child. Yeah.
They had the dopest hairstyles.
Man, yeah, they were like style icon. Like, I mean,
Yeah, they had style with them. They was dope with it. And it was like you couldn't really define them because they was just so fashionable. But you know what I mean, you wherever you was on R&B, soul, hip hop, whatever, you can see yourself in them. That's how dope they used to dress. Press play.
The Grammys. The Recording Academy had never nominated a rap song before. Push It was the very first rap nomination in Grammy history. And when Salt and Peppa performed at the 1989 ceremony, they became the first rap act to ever take that stage. The audience didn't fully know what to do. Salt and Peppa didn't care. They commanded the room the way they always did, with volume, with presence, with the certainty that they belonged.
They were the first
It was 1989. Run DMC had crossed over. LL
Man, Salt brought the finger waves. Pepper brought the the little braids and stuff. Yes, man.
Right.
Everybody was copying they look.
Look, and they were the very first rap group to be on the Grammys.
Man, see, people need to give more props to the women breaking through because the men was not breaking through the Grammys. It took a female group to break through, and then the men was able to follow. So shouts out to the female goddesses of hip hop that was making it all go down.
Cool J had magazine covers, but nobody had seen two women do what Salt and Peppa did on that Grammy stage: rap with authority, perform with precision, and leave a room full of rock legends wondering what just happened. Assault with a Deadly Peppa dropped in 1988 and went gold. Then came Black's Magic in 1990. Expression reached number 28 on the Hot 100, and Let's Talk About landed at number 12. That song did more than chart. It shifted the conversation. Two women rapping openly about desire and autonomy in an era when female artists were expected to be either silent or sanctified. The AIDS remix, Let's Talk About AIDS, became a public health tool distributed in schools and clinics across the country. Salt and Peppa weren't just making music anymore. They were making permission. Permission for women to talk about their bodies, their desires, their health in a genre that had never asked for their opinion.
Man, and you look like this. You know what? When I look at this, I see TLC, their whole style. This is how TLC ended up dressing later on. You had like the T-Boz and the three people. It's the same layout. Jermaine Dupri writing all the lyrics, doing all the stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, that's crazy. The only difference is TLC was singing, rapping, and everything, but Salt and Pepper, you know what I'm saying? They were rapping the whole time. But their color, the reds, the greens, they were always colorful, and then they would have like moments when they would get darker. TLC just copied their entire style. And whoever Jermaine Dupri was a genius, he just knew, just copy what was already done.
Facts.
Because look at if they didn't say they were Salt and Pepper, you'd think it was T-Boz, chili, and whatever, and it left out the exact same style, look, and everything. Let's go.
3 albums, multiple chart hits, a Grammy nomination, a Grammy stage. And through every achievement, one name on every credit, every contract, every royalty statement: Herbie Azor. He produced the records. He managed the tours. He was credited as songwriter on virtually every track. And he was still dating Salt. The conflicts of interest were stacked 3 deep: creative, financial, and personal. And nobody had the leverage to untangle them. The more Salt and Peppa succeeded, the tighter his grip became. His production company, Nita Productions, was the entity that held the deal with Next Plateau. Every dollar flowed through his structure first. They were winning everything, except the one thing that would matter most when the music stopped. And it would take them another decade to realize what they'd already lost. October 12th, 1993. Salt and Peppa release, Very Necessary. And for the first time in their career, the music sounds like it belongs to them. The difference was in the credits. Salt and Peppa weren't just performing. They were writing their own lyrics, co-producing tracks, making decisions about sequencing and singles. Herbie Azor's grip had loosened. Not entirely. His name still appeared, and the business structure hadn't changed. But in the studio, something had shifted. These weren't two girls from Sears anymore. They were women who had spent 7 years watching someone else take credit for their instincts. And they'd had enough. Shoop hit number 4 on the Hot 100. Laid back, flirtatious, and entirely on their terms.
Man, do you remember when it was like there was like this whole battle between him and them, where he wasn't liking the fact that they was going to be writing their own. Did you remember that? Like he didn't think it was going to be successful. I remember that this in that time. Like he didn't think it was going to be for them to write their own stuff. I don't know. I remember that. Back when I was coming up, it was like the thing, but then they end up being successful anyway.
What a Man, featuring on Vogue, climbed to number 3. 4 women celebrating men without a male producer dictating the temperature. None of Your Business landed at number 32 and became the anthem of female autonomy in 90s hip-hop. The video had Salt and Peppa dressed as judges, lawyers, and jurors, literally putting themselves in the positions of power that the industry had never offered them. The message was the same one they'd been sending since 1986, only now it came with 5 million copies of proof. Very Necessary went 5 times platinum, 5 million copies. And in 1995, None of Your Business won the Grammy for Best Rap Performance by a duo or group, making Salt and Peppa the first female rappers to win a Grammy. Not nominated, not honored. Winners. But the album that proved they could create without Azor was still contractually tied to him. Nita Productions still held the production deal. The money still routed through his entity. The songwriting credits on the earlier albums still carried his name. They'd won the creative war. The business war was already lost before they knew it was being fought.
Wow. So even though they wrote their own stuff, because the contract was the way it was like they didn't get paid for it. That's crazy.
Signed away in 1986 when they were 20 years old and grateful just to be in the room. 5 times platinum, a Grammy on the shelf, and not a single master in their name. Brand New dropped in 1997 and landed with a thud, number 63 on the R&B albums chart, barely a ripple. The mid-90s had shifted. Lil' Kim was rewriting the rules. Missy Elliott was about to reinvent the production game, and the polished, pop-accessible lane Salt and Peppa had pioneered was being edged out by something harder and more provocative. The group that opened the door was watching the next generation walk through it without looking back. Brand New sold a fraction of what Very Necessary had moved. The label didn't renew. The phone stopped ringing, and just like that, the most successful female rap group in history was without a recording home. But the album's failure was the least of what was breaking. Cheryl James was falling apart. She'd been bulimic for years, hiding it behind the costumes, the choreography, the public image of a woman who had everything together. The depression came with it, slow and heavy. She said it plainly in interviews. She hated what she saw in the mirror. The woman who'd stood on Grammy stages couldn't stand to look at herself. Sandra Denton's pain was different, but no less consuming. She married Anthony Tretch Chris, the rapper from Naughty by Nature, in the late 90s. What the public saw was a power couple. What Peppa documented in her 2008 memoir, Let's Talk About Pep, was domestic abuse, behind closed doors while the rest of the world applauded her husband on stage. The marriage lasted roughly 2 years before the divorce was finalized around 2001. Tretch denied the allegations publicly. Peppa's account has remained consistent across multiple interviews and her own book. She wrote about the bruises, the fear, the double life of being one of hip-hop's most confident women on stage and one of its most silenced in private. And buried deeper, revealed in that.
She was the first to go through the stresses of being a hip-hop couple before your Jay-Z and Beyonce's and all that. You had Tretch and Peppa. Because there used to be a lot of drama going on with them two.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. They were the first hip hop couple. Yeah, I remember we were all rooting for you.
A memoir was the fact that Peppa had been molested as a child. The woman the world saw rapping about sexual freedom had been robbed of her own before she was old enough to understand what was taken. By 1999, Salt had married Gavin Ray and become a born-again Christian. She stepped away from music entirely. She didn't want to perform. She didn't want to record. She didn't want to be Salt anymore. She later said she found peace in her faith, that Christianity gave her the thing the industry never could, which was the ability to exist without performing. Salt divorced Gavin Ray in 2010, but the faith stayed. It was the only thing that held through the decade. Meanwhile, the industry kept turning. Names like Clive Davis floated through the rooms where careers were built and dismantled. The rooms where masters changed hands and catalogs were traded like commodities. Rooms that Salt and Peppa were rarely invited into once the hits stopped coming. The music stopped. The contracts didn't. And while Salt was praying and Peppa was healing, the masters were quietly changing hands, moving further from the women who made them with every corporate merger. For 30 years, Dee Dee Spinderella Roper stood on that stage. She was there before the first album went gold. She was there when Push It broke the Hot 100. She was there when Very Necessary went 5 times platinum and they won the Grammy. 3 decades, thousands of shows, and in January 2019, she found out she'd been fired. Spinderella has said publicly that the decision blindsided her, that after more than 30 years as a founding pillar of the group, she was cut loose without the kind of closure that 3 decades of partnership should demand. 30 years of shows, of scratching records on stages from New York to Tokyo, of being the third leg of a group that changed music history, ended without a conversation. Then the lawsuit came. Over $600,000 in unpaid royalties spanning more than a decade. Fraud, trademark infringement, unjust enrichment. The woman who had stood on every stage and appeared in every video alleged she'd been systematically underpaid for years, that the money from the shows, the appearances, the licensing deals had been divided in ways that left her with a fraction of what the name Salt and Peppa generated. The VH1 reality show had aired in 2007 and 2008, framing the reunion as a feel-good comeback. The Lifetime biopic in 2021 portrayed them as a unified front. But behind the cameras, according to Spinderella's filing, the financial fractures had been growing for years. The public narrative was sisterhood. The private reality was exclusion. And here's the part that sits heaviest. Salt and Peppa had spent their career fighting against exploitation, against Azor's control, against the label structures that funneled their money through other people's companies. They knew what it felt like to be on the wrong end of a contract. The lawsuit alleged that the same pattern had been replicated within their own group. The DJ who had been there from the beginning claimed she'd been treated the way the industry had treated all of them. By 2023, Salt and Peppa had launched a Las Vegas residency at Planet Hollywood, touring income as the primary revenue, separate from the masters' disputes. They were still performing, still Salt and Peppa, but the triangle had become a line, and the third woman was standing on the other side of a courtroom. To understand how Salt and Peppa lost their masters, you have to follow the chain. When they signed with Next Plateau Records, the deal was structured through Azor's company. Nita Productions held the production agreement. The recordings, the actual master tapes, belonged to the entity that held the production deal. Not to Salt, not to Peppa, to Nita Productions. From there, the chain moved. Next Plateau's catalog was acquired by London Records. London was absorbed into Polygram. Polygram was swallowed by Universal Music Group in 1998. And when UMG consumed Polygram, it consumed everything down the line, including everything Nita Productions had produced. 5 corporate transactions, none involving Salt, Peppa, or Spinderella. Nobody called, nobody needed to, because legally, the women on the microphone had never owned the recordings. The works for hire designation meant the music was corporate property from the moment it was recorded.
Ain't that a bitch? So they were considered a work for hire their entire career.
Yup.
And even when they wrote their own lyrics.
Yup.
Won Grammys. But I'm like, why would a person like be that out cold to, like, you know, that we're responsible for your success? Why wouldn't he just pay it forward? Why would he say, you know what? let me go on ahead and give you some album credit, just because I know that, whatever. I don't know what why would someone do that? The music, look, industry rule 4080, record company people are shady. Because what in the hell? Like, really? All that?
The artists were labor. The product belonged to the company. This is the machinery that built the modern music industry. Not just for Salt and Peppa, for generations of Black artists whose catalogs were absorbed through mergers and contractual structures designed to separate the creator from the creation. The system didn't need a villain. It just needed paperwork. And the paperwork was airtight. By the time Salt and Peppa understood what had happened, by the time they traced the chain from Herbie's production company to a multinational corporation, the distance between them and their own music was measured in decades and billions of dollars. Their songs were still playing. Their masters were sitting in a UMG vault, and the royalties from every stream, every sync license, every commercial placement flowed to an entity that had never heard Cheryl James or Sandra Denton sing a single note. The chain was complete, every link forged by someone else's hand, and the only thing left for Salt and Peppa to do was what they'd been doing since 1985, fight. In May 2025, Salt and Peppa filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Group. The claim was direct. UMG was profiting from recordings Salt and Peppa had created through a chain of ownership the artists had never consented to. They wanted their masters back. The lawsuit landed in headlines. 2 women in their late 50s taking on one of the largest music corporations on the planet. The same women who'd gone platinum when the industry said they couldn't. The audacity was familiar. The same energy that had put them on that Grammy stage in 1989. Then came November 2025. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Salt and Peppa were finally given the honor the music had earned decades earlier. The speeches were supposed to be celebrations, gratitude, nostalgia, a night of applause and thank yous and carefully worded reflections on a career well lived. Salt took the microphone and turned it into something else entirely. She named Universal Music Group, on stage, on camera, in front of the industry. She said it plainly, that the company sitting on their masters had no right to them, that the music had been taken through a chain of deals none of them had signed, and that the fight wasn't over. This wasn't a thank you speech. It was an indictment delivered from the highest stage the music industry has to offer. The room shifted. The applause had a different texture, not just celebration, but recognition. 2 women who had spent 4 decades being exploited, underestimated, and contractually erased were using the single biggest moment of institutional validation to call the institution out by name. During the dispute, Salt and Peppa's music was pulled from major streaming platforms. The songs that had gone platinum and won Grammys became unavailable to new listeners. Try searching for Push It on Spotify. Try finding Shoop on Apple Music. The catalog that shaped an entire generation of female empowerment in hip-hop disappeared from the digital shelves while the legal battle played out. They stood on the biggest stage of their lives and said the name out loud. And 2 months later, the court said it didn't matter. January 2026. A judge dismissed the lawsuit. The ruling was clinical. The recordings were works for hire, created under Azor's production deal. The chain, Nita Productions to Next Plateau to London, Records to Polygram to UMG, was legally sound. Salt and Peppa had never signed with UMG. They didn't need to. The chain bypassed them entirely. In February 2026, they filed an appeal. The fight that started in a Sears break room in 1985 was still going, 41 years later in a federal courtroom, against a corporation worth billions. So let's do the math on what Cheryl James and Sandra Denton built in 40 years. First female rap group to go gold. First to go platinum. First rap nomination in Grammy history. First rap performance on the Grammy stage. First female rappers to win a Grammy. Over 15 million records sold. 5 times platinum on a single album. Push It, Shoop, What a Man. Let's Talk About Sex. None of Your Business. Songs that soundtracked a generation and gave permission to every female MC who came after them. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, class of 2025. And 0 masters in their name. The music is off streaming. The catalog sits in a UMG vault, unavailable to the listeners who might discover it. The royalties from every stream, every sync license, every commercial placement went to a corporation that never heard Salt or Peppa rap a single bar. Salt is 59. Peppa is 59. They're still performing in Las Vegas, still touring, still drawing crowds that know every word to songs the streaming platforms won't play. The money comes from the stage now. From the voices, the presence, the energy that no contract can own. The industry took the masters. It couldn't take the show. They walked into a Sears break room in 1985 with nothing but a dare and a beat. 40 years later, they still don't own the songs, but they own something the contracts can never touch. The truth about who built it, who took it, and who's still fighting to get it back.
Oh my God,
That's
that's
deep,
a
right?
very sad
That's
situation.
deep.
Like what?
Facts. Yeah, man. Them deals is no joke in this music industry. And this is a lesson that has to be learned from any of our sisters that want to come in the music industry like this. Learn from the first earth goddesses of hip hop so you don't make them type of mistakes that they made.
That's terrible. They still don't. They're about to be their grandmas, and they still don't own their masters. And some of the music they created. So Herbie Lovebug put them in a fucked up. That's fucked up. Like I don't know. That's like damn, nigga. Like really? You're gonna sell it off and don't even tell them and invite them to the deal or nothing. You just sell it off, and you know that is wow. That is the most cutthroat shit I've ever heard in my life. Oh man, that's the most cutthroat story. But you know that it goes to show when you actually think about these women and hip hop and what they had to go through and endure and how much they contributed to the situation, only for them to like end up not even getting anything from Roxanne Shante all the way up to Salt and Pepper, just getting just ran through. Now they have to like do a Las Vegas show to like even make any money. They can't even make no money. They can't even pass their catalog down to their children. I hope that they did get like some publishing off of it, like some publishing royalties or whatever. I hope that they're getting some writers, but that's a very sad state of events that you do all that working and shucking and jiving on the stage and ain't getting nothing. And then the Herbie, he's out cold for that. He could have at least just because of he was getting this money, but you know what? It is what it is, you know. That's crazy. But that shows you how demonic and evil that music industry is to even go down like that. Shout out to the D. Thank you. So let's we're at the end of the first half of the show, part 1. We're gonna have a part 2 coming up shortly. When we're gonna do part 2, Mighty Hebrew? You there? Mighty Hebrew?
Okay, I'm here. I heard you, but it wouldn't let me come in. What you say now? Say it again.
I was saying we're at the end of this show, the part 1. So when are we gonna do part 2? And then I want to give you your final words.
Okay, so we at the end of I got to make a whole nother.
No, part 2. I still have part 2.
It's still part 1.
Right. So we're gonna come back.
What I'm saying
is
it's part 2 it's part 2, but still part 1 though. Because you got Light.
Yeah, so we're gonna come back and we're gonna come back with MC Light and we're gonna come back with part 2 on that one. So look forward to that show coming up soon, guys. We're gonna get into MC Light. I hope that they got something because goddamn, like that whole part 1, all them, they all got screwed over. They all did all that stuff and didn't get nothing. Right. I hope that by the time MC Light and Queen Latifah and all these other people that once they like came in to play, they had their business intact. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a sad state of affairs. That first part 1 is sad. None of them got no money. The music industry was handing them their asshole. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why Herbie Love. I get it, Herbie Lovebug, but at those last 3 albums, they can't get nothing, and then you sold their catalog. That's crazy. No, that's
yeah. So this was a banger. So this is part one, correct?
Yeah, it is. So let's give a final word.
Oh man, giving all praise and honor to Yahweh, the supreme, intelligent, powerful one of our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, those striving for righteousness. Like I say, into the family, Shalom Aleichem. It's definitely an honor and a privilege to do part one of the first Earth Goddesses of hip hop. We will be coming back with part two of part one, and then we're going to come with part two and part three. You know what I mean? Because we got from 95 to 2010, 2010 to 2026. So this was dope. We out, alchemizing energy. Shalom Aleichem.
Peace.
Just when I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah, yeah, yeah. See if you believe in the God in you.